Hello, everyone. We're here today with Rob Macdonald, VP Exploration at Southern Silver. Southern Silver has three interesting projects, one flagship, Cerro Las Menitas, but I'll let Rob tell us all about that.
Well, thank you very much, Peter, and thank you again for getting me to the Metal Investors Forum.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure to present. With Southern Silver, as Peter said, we have three projects currently in the stable. The flagship is our Cerro Las Menitas project. It is a large silver, lead, zinc skarn system located in Durango, Mexico. And we've been exploring on the project for just over 10 years and taking it from initial discoveries right up to now to the point that we have a significant mineral resource of indicated and inferred mineralization totaling over 30 million tons on the project, and we are now transitioning that into sort of the pre-production stage to produce a preliminary economic assessment of that as we continue drilling and exploring on the project to continue expanding mineral resources.
So that's your flagship. Lots of action there now. From how I remember, there are several areas where you continue, in fact, to expand and continue to drill and keep discovering, it seems, more and more resources. So maybe you can tell us about the different areas where you're sort of looking next and how that expansion's coming.
Yes, the way that the project grew, we first explored all the way around this what I call a central intrusion, which acts as the heat pump for the full mineralizing system. We did an initial round all around the intrusion. It's around 1 kilometer in diameter, and so we identified some thicker zones of mineralization on the west side, initially focused on the west side, and started initially building resources there. In 2020, when we went back to continue exploring on the project, we decided to test on the eastern side. And over the last 2 years, we brought in two new deposits: the South Skarn and the Mina La Bacona deposits, and we drilled those down to around 400, 500 meters, but there was still mineralization open to the west northwest of the La Bacona deposit. So over the last 4-5 months, we've continued drilling on that project in that area, and continue to have some excellent success in that area. There's also a what we call the El Sol claim, which is located to the northwest of the main claim block that hosts all of the mineralization, and we've done some drilling there as well. Again, some success, and it's probably an area that we will be going back to as well.
Excellent. So you mentioned in your presentation that Cerro Las Menitas was likely to be developed as an underground sulfide deposit.
Yes.
Something that struck me was, given all these sort of areas where you've got parts of the deposit that naturally add up, they're not far from each other, and it may be a little early to say, but how do you ultimately see this being developed? Where would you decide to start mining first, essentially?
Typically you try and prioritize mineralization that is closest to surface, and as well as the higher grade mineralization. The model that we're working on now, the mining model that we're working on now, has two declines, one on the west, one on the east. And both will slowly but surely work their way down to some of the higher grade parts of the resource, particularly on the west side. On the eastern side, we do have a nice high grade lens, relatively shallow, within a couple of 100 meters of surface, and that is the initial focus for a proposed focus, because again, it's a mining model. but the proposed focus for mining on the eastern side as well. So it's sort of two-pronged in that way, and we're just completing the scheduling and how all of that builds into a production scenario and whatnot as we continue working on the PEA.
Sure. So would these declines be developed at the same time, or one first and then another?
Yes, they would be developed at the same time.
Okay.
And with the idea that some of the mineralization on the western side is both thicker and higher, and some parts higher grade. And so the idea is to work your way down there as quickly as possible while you're generating some excellent income, or throughput, I should say,
Right.
on the eastern side with some of that shallower, high-grade mineralization on the eastern side.
Okay. Any chance that those declines would potentially meet ultimately?
We have played with some scenarios where that it would just be one decline and that you'd literally zip back and forth. At this point, for this model, at this time, it seems like it's better that we just have two, and I think that makes sense because we discussed earlier in the in our discussion the new mineralization at what we're calling the North Felsite zone, which is on strike from Bacona. So on the eastern side, you will go from South Skarn to Bacona to North Felsite through all of those workings, while on the west side, you'll initially start on the Blind and the El Sol mineralization and work your way down into the big thick lens of mineralization that we have that we call the Skarn Front deposit, and work your way down through that.
Okay, so I guess in the upcoming PEA for Q3 this year, we'll probably know a little bit more about how all of this will look ultimately.
Yes, that's certainly the idea, and as I say, we're working our way through that, and again, working on the scheduling. We're now looking at the capital costs. I think we have a decent handle on our operating costs right now, and we're just working through all of those steps.
Excellent. So now you've got two other projects besides your flagship, Oro and Hermanas. Maybe you can tell us about those in that order.
Yes, both of those projects are located in southern New Mexico. They're earlier stage projects than Cerro Las Menitas. The Oro Project is a large laramide porphyry system. The target sits within a 22 square kilometer area. It's a big zone porphyry that goes from a central porphyry target outboard to a replacement high-grade silver lead zinc system, and then a distal gold target even further afield. And those are distributed over around a 3.5 kilometer radius. So it is a very big active hydrothermal system. We've, in earlier exploration, we drilled 20 or 17 RC holes in the distal gold target. We drilled 9 core holes, testing primarily the replacement targets, the high-grade silver lead zinc, and now we're focused on the porphyry target. And the idea here is to give our investors exposure to copper. And these are we sit within a belt that hosts some of the largest copper deposits in the world. So it extends from Arizona through into New Mexico and down into Mexico. Again, world-class deposits there. And then we felt that now that copper has had a resurgence, it's getting up, 435, 450, that it was an excellent time to provide our shareholders exposure to copper. And so that's the main idea with Oro. With Hermanas, this is a recent acquisition. We've optioned the property to own 100% from 2 veteran project generators, Bud Hillemeyer and Perry Durning. And these are expert generative geologists that have been active in Mexico for over 20 years, and to their credit, have the discoveries at San Sebastian, San Agustin, Pitarrilla, Camino Rojo, Los Gatos. So you're looking at a group that have that on the generative side have resulted in the discovery of over 1 billion ounces of silver and 10 million ounces of gold, and they like this project. And so when they brought it to us, we liked that project, quite simply. And this is very much in the early stages. It's a large vein system. Gold and silver are the targets. It's an epithermal vein system, and we've completed the initial mapping, some verification sampling. We're just getting those results back now, so we should have some news flow based on that, and then we'll be in the permitting stage and looking towards drilling either later in 2022, because it'll probably be about a 6-month process, or early 2023.
Okay, well, thanks for this great overview of Southern Silver. 3 great projects, a flagship and 2 up-and-coming exciting projects as well. And so we'll certainly look forward to the news flow.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Rob.